My name's Hannah and I'm a 22-year-old photographer from Pontypool in South Wales. This is my first video. They probably all won't be as awkward as this, but we'll see how it goes. I figured I'd kick things off with something a bit more exciting. I'd like for this channel to be sort of... I get a lot of messages on my Instagram asking about how to get into photography, how to get into gig photography more specifically, advice, sort of how I go about doing things, as well as I guess doing a creative subject at uni. I did music at Bristol Uni for a bit, and then I did film at the University of South Wales, and I graduated last July. And I guess also stuff about graduate life, getting by just about, what to expect and how to sort of combat post-uni blues. It's really hard when you go from doing like creative stuff every day to having to go into like an admin job and stuff, but yeah, but I figured I'd start off with something a bit more exciting. About a fortnight ago I had the opportunity to shoot Bombay Bicycle Club at the Cardiff Students' Union for Buzz magazine, which was really exciting. I hadn't really shot much since October, which was Student Festival, due to kind of, I was having a little bit of a wobble anyway, because it's quite a competitive thing. And if you take things personally like I do, it can be quite hard. Oh, and also I had some kit stolen. I had my MacBook stolen, so I had nothing to edit on. And the burglary sort of spent my personal life into a bit of a spin, so I had to move home because my flat wasn't safe and stuff. So I've kind of found my feet a bit again now, and I'm really excited to be shooting again. So yeah, that's what this first video is about, Bombay Bicycle Club. So as I mentioned, I moved home recently to Pontypool, so I got the train to Cardiff, which I really like taking the train. It gives you like a chunk of time just to think about the day or plan something, or just a bit of time that you don't really have to be doing anything. So I was actually going to Cardiff in the morning for an interview, so I did a bit of prep for that, and then it gave me the opportunity to listen to some new music. I've been really into Witch Elm at the moment and Gengar again. So that was cool, and then I did give the new Bombay Bicycle Club album a bit of a spin, just to know what I was expecting really. After the interview I met up with a friend who I hadn't seen in a while, and we had veggie sushi, which was really nice. It's been quite hard on my social life, I guess, moving home, just because it's quite expensive to keep going to Cardiff, and I live quite rurally, so it's like an extra thing to get a bus to the train station, and then the train station to Cardiff, and then whatever. But it was really nice to make the time. She also does YouTube actually, Jess Flavin, and she's really cool, so check her out. Yeah, it was really nice to catch up, and then I was still hungry, so I went and had more yo sushi on my own. But it was, what did I have? Yo fries, which are really good, would recommend. I've been trying to shoot more on film recently, especially while my laptop was gone, because I didn't have to edit them. So I was trying to find, I really like the Ilford film at the moment, the black and white one. And also there's this crazy like purple pigmented film I've been trying to find that's not like really expensive, because they do it in Urban Outfitters, but they always add stuff on there. So I was trying to look for that, but I had no luck. I was also trying to find somewhere to develop the photos I took on my film camera at my mum and stepdad's wedding. I've been having a really hard time finding somewhere in South Wales, anywhere really, that develops film anymore. Jessops and Boots have stopped doing it in Cardiff, so if anyone knows of anywhere, hit me up. Then I walked back into town to meet my friend Chanel, who'd got us tickets to, it was like a tea mixology cocktail workshop thing. I did so much walking that day. I did like 25,000 steps or something in double-soled Dr. Martens, so my feet were absolutely killing me. But I had a really nice time at that. I've been trying to, like, especially since moving home where it's quite hard, there's nowhere really to go around here. So I've not really been going out much. So I was trying to like push myself to keep doing new things every time I go out, kind of thing. So that was really fun. I usually drink tea because it stains my teeth, but it was really fun. It's called Bird and Blend. I think there's one in Brighton and one in Bristol as well, and one in London, I think. So first they sort of explained to us a bit about the company. It's really cool to see so many like pop-ups, independent pop-ups, like becoming shops in Cardiff. So they're in Castle Arcade, I think. So yeah, they talked us through their sort of history, and then we got to sample loads of different types of tea. I think my favourites, I bought both of them, were Enchanted Narnia, which is like rose, Turkish delight kind of flavouring somehow, and what's the other thing? Like cocoa shells, which is really weird because you just have that with hot water, and because of the cocoa, it makes the water like creamy even though there's no cream in it, so that's really nice, and it's meant to be a really good painkiller, so I've got some of that. And what's the other one? Mocha chai, which I usually hate coffee, but it kind of was like spicy with the chai, and then they made it as a cold brew with coconut milk, so I've been doing that, and that was so good. Yeah, I definitely give it a whirl there if you're into tea, or it's just a really nice place to catch up with people as well. So that was my friend Chanel, and then we went to the gig. I was super gutted because the set times they posted in like all of the events and stuff were really different to what the event actually ran like. So I missed Liz Lawrence, like all of her set, and I missed like the shooting window for the Big Moon, which I was gutted about because I love the Big Moon. I've wanted to shoot them for a while, so that was kind of annoying, but at least I got to see their set, and they played loads of stuff from their new album, which, I mean, I think it would have been quite hard to shoot the Big Moon just because Cardiff SU do this funny thing where they don't always light the faces of the support bands for some reason, which makes it quite hard. Obviously you can't shoot gigs with flash, which I wouldn't do anyway, but it makes it really hard to get kind of any definition in the face unless you've got like really posh kit. And if you're trying to lighten it in Photoshop, it always gives a bit of a sludgy colour and like grainy and stuff, so maybe I wouldn't have been able to shoot them anyway, but I was still quite sad. But yeah, I think this was their sort of comeback tour. They've been on a bit of a sort of break as a band, but there was such a buzz in the room as soon as I got in there, and I was actually really nervous for this gig. That's something I wanted to talk about. Is I think a lot of people realise that bands can get performance anxiety, as you would if you're on a stage with loads of people, but also like I get quite bad performance anxiety shooting gigs sometimes, especially if it's something I put a lot of pressure on myself to do well at, or if it's like something that a gig that my friends are playing and they've asked me specifically to do it, because I'm like, oh god, what if I mess it up, or what if I don't know, something goes wrong, or my SD card breaks, or whatever. So yeah, that's like quite a genuine thing. I was really anxious for this gig. As I said at the beginning as well, I hadn't really shot anything like gig photography wise since October time, because of my laptop and stuff. So although that was a really fun weekend, there's also so many people shooting that it's quite hard not to compare yourself to them, especially as a self-taught photographer as well. You can it's really easy to feel like you're not good enough, or you're not meant to be there, or have some sort of like imposter syndrome. I know I get that all the time, thinking, oh my god, I've winged it to this point, and how am I here and someone's going to find out soon that I'm not meant to be here. But that's something I'm working through myself, and yeah, something I'm not sure many people realise that photographers get. There were only like 2 other photographers there, I think. I think one was shooting for the venue, and I'm not sure who the other person was shooting for, but they were super nice, and it was good because there wasn't any like issue with too many people being there, or people wanting to stand somewhere and someone being a bit hostile, or people being possessive, which doesn't happen a lot at gigs anyway. It can happen quite a lot of festivals, but so that was really nice. They seemed lovely. I wish I chatted to them actually, which is something I'm trying to work on as well, because they were having a conversation. I didn't want to like butt in and be like, hello. But yeah, so that was a relief that there was no like sort of battle between, which doesn't really happen that much, but it can. There was just this really incredible buzz. Like you could tell that the crowd was so excited for Bombay to play, and there was just like a lot of really good energy in the room, so that kind of like took away from me being anxious actually quite a lot. So I thought, well, people are just here to enjoy themselves, it's going to be a good gig no matter what, so I've just got to document that as well as I can. The gig itself was incredible. The first 3 songs were they weren't short, but they were like short and sweet. So that was good because there was lots of energy, and you weren't feeling like awkward if it was a long song and you stood in the way maybe of someone in the front row. So that was nice. Yeah, I feel like it was a good gig to like bounce off the band, to try and just capture. There was so much energy there anyway that it wasn't like you were trying to create energy in a photo. The band obviously were like really happy to be back, so they were like sort of, they had like poses that you could definitely capture. It wasn't you trying to like just follow them around stage while they were playing. I think not every set, but some you get like one photo where as you take it you're like, yes, that's the one, I've got it. The stress is gone now. I know at least I've got one good photo to go with the review. So that happened, and I think he like punched his arm in the air, and I think that was my favourite photo from the set. The lighting was incredible. It was like really nice warm sort of reds and oranges, and then some blues and purples, so that was really fun, and the lighting was done really well, so there's quite a lot of shadow to play with, but no one's faces weren't lit or anything. I have a Nikon D5300, which is quite an old camera now. It's the one I've always used. I don't have like bags and bags of kit. I've got one lens that I kind of always use and one that I sometimes use for portraits, but the gig lens is always the same. It's an 80-200 Nikon one, which is really, really handy if I find it really good for gigs, because if you're like stuck in one place, it's really versatile. You can zoom in really close and you can get quite wide. But my camera's a bit awkward. They did fix it on the next model up, but it's really hard to change the ISO without going into a menu. Obviously with gigs you get three songs, I think maximum usually, to take the photos in, and if they're short you've got a really short amount of time to fiddle with it and get it right, and then before you can go and take photos. I tend to leave it on shutter priority and work it out from there, because I've always shot with the same camera. It might be different for other people, but I kind of know it really well now, so I know exactly like what I can get away with, and with the shutter obviously the quicker it is, the less light it's letting in, so you've got to really find that balance between having the photo light enough to make out what's going on stage, but not too light that it's not sharp. So that's what I tend to do. I don't think I did anything major with the editing. Maybe the next video I'll do like a bit of a time lapse or show you what I did with it. But what I really had to do is sort of sort the levels out. I think in Lightroom I turned some of the reds to a more like burnt orange colour, because I prefer that, and the same with the blues. I think I made them sort of more of a teal than a kind of like a deep blue. So that's kind of it. As I said, they lit it really well, so there wasn't a sort of problem with grain or with it being too sludgy coloured or whatever. So yeah, I was really pleased with the photos. They were published in Buzz magazine to go alongside the review that my friend Sophie, actually I didn't realise did, who's a really talented journalist. So yeah, I feel like it was a good gig to kick the decade off, a good one to get back into it. And also on my old laptop I had my favourite, the favourite gigs I'd shot, the press stickers on the back of my laptop, because it made it nice and colourful, and also it's like a humble brag in uni. But yeah, they all went when my laptop got stolen. I was gutted. I like went some Jewel Holland on there when I went to the Great Escape with Horizons. Truck Festival, Barn the Farm. I was really gutted. But I've got a sticker now to kickstart my new collection, and it's going strong, I think. So yeah, really excited for the next one. This weekend I'm actually going up to London, so I feel like that might be my next video. It's my friend's birthday. There's also this really gorgeous church or cathedral, I think, church, I don't know, on an article that I found called 19 of the best places to cry in London. I think it's called St Dunstan's in the east, and it's near Tower Bridge. But it's gorgeous. I'm really hoping to go and take some portraits in there, because it's sort of like a kind of jungly public garden now. So yeah, I'll probably do that, and then also taking my film camera to the party, so we'll see what that comes out like. So yeah, that'll probably be my next video. I'll put my social media handles at the bottom of this screen. I think I've got Instagram and Twitter, and maybe my website as well, if you kind of fancy seeing what I've done in the past and my sort of style and what I enjoy doing. And yeah, see you in the next video if I ever make it.